Understanding Relations, Functions, Domain, and Range. Term 1, Week 3. So we are now in the session 3, Domain, Range, and Function Notation. So we're going to talk about equations and notation. So in here, this is the main part of our topic. So these are the things that we are going to discuss. So let's have a quick drill. So we're going to use vertical line test or VLT on each graph. And I want you to identify, is it a function, why or why not? What is the domain? Projection on the x-axis. What is the range? Okay, so here is the item number 1. Again, this domain is the horizontal part and the range is the vertical part. So is it a function? Why or why not? So this is the graph. This is a linear graph. Okay. So what about number 2? Is it a function? Why or why not? So feel free to pause this video and think for a moment. What do you think is the domain and range? By the way, this is a parabola graph. Uh, what about the circle? Is it a function or not? You can use the vertical line test. Kapag tumama ng dalawa, that is not a function. Kapag tumama ng isa, that is a function. Okay, so domain and range, identify that. So yeah, let's move on to the next one. So is it a function? Why or why not? Yes, this is a function. Every vertical line crosses the graph at most once. Kahit saan ka mag-drawing ng vertical line dyan, isang beses lang yung tatama sa graph. By the way, ganito sinusulat yung domain natin. Pag-aaralan naman natin kung paano isulat yan eh. So, for the sake of your demonstration, itong mga infinity na yan, from negative infinity, ibig sabihin, pag nag-drawing ka ng mga vertical line dyan, no? Yan po ay continuous. Bakit? May ray eh. Pag sinabing ray, continuous na naman yan, di ba? So, hanggang negative 2, negative 4, negative 1,000, negative 1,000,000, hanggang negative walang katapusan. So, we have 2, 4, yan, 6, positive 1,000, positive 1,000,000, and so on. Positive infinity. Okay? So, yung range naman, kung may, dito, nag-drawing tayo ng vertical line test. Wait lang, buburahin ko lang para makita ninyo kung paano ko This time, ang drawing ko naman is horizontal line. So, let's see. So, subukan natin itong highlighter naman. So, kunyari, naglagay ako dito ng horizontal from 0 papunta sa yan. So, as you can see, tatama naman yan. Merong 2, merong 3, merong 4, merong 1,000. Since continuous yan, merong 1,000,000 hanggang walang katapusan. Hanggang sa, basta, walang katapusan. So, that is negative, positive infinity. Pero, start mo tayo sa baba. Negative infinity ba kasama ba yun? Yan, negative 1, negative 2, negative 4, negative 1,000. Yan, as you can see, tuloy-tuloy kasi yan eh. Di ba? So, kaya meron tayong range na negative infinity to positive infinity. By the way, the line extends forever in both direction. That is why that is the domain and range. Kasi, bakit ako nagsulat ng infinity dyan? Gusto mo bang isulat yung negative 1, negative 0, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, hanggang walang katapusan? Meron ba nun? So, syempre, para mas madali, sulat mo na yung infinity. Okay? So, actually, there are other ways to write that. No? Pero for now, yan muna ang papakita ko sa inyo. So, number 2, this is a parabola. Is it a function? Why or why not? Yes. Kung drawing ka ng vertical line dyan, isang beses ang tatama yan. So, yung domain niya is from negative infinity to positive infinity kasi ito ay extended. Okay? So, meron niyang positive 4, positive 4, positive 1,000. Ganun din dito, no? Extended din siya. Yan. Tapos, sa range niya naman, when you draw a horizontal line, so dito, as you can see, mag-i-start siya sa negative 2. Okay, yung graph ay nag-start sa negative 2. Okay? So, syempre, tatama yan sa 1, tatama sa 0, tatama sa positive 1 ulit, 2, 4, syempre, 1,000, 1,000,000, walang katapusan, kaya positive infinity yan. Again, so baka nalito kayo dun sa domain naman. Ulitin ko ulit yung domain para makita ninyo at ma-imagine ninyo. Gagamit ako ng vertical line. So, ang domain, mga set of x values yan, di ba? So, syempre, meron dapat si negative, -1. Okay? So, meron dapat si -2, negative, -3, syempre extended yan, -4, -1,000, -1,000,000, hanggang negative walang katapusan. So, ganun din dito mga anak. So, that is continuous. Kaya, negative infinity to positive infinity pagdating sa mga x values. Sa range naman yung y values, hanggang dito lang yan sa -2. Okay, the graph extends infinitely left and right, but the lowest point is y equals -2. That's how we identify the domain and range. So, is it a function? Definitely not. Dahil dalawang beses tumama yan. Nag-drawing ka ng vertical line test, ayan, dalawang beses siya tumama. Okay? So, paano yung domain niya? Lahat ng domain na tinamaan, sabihin natin tumama sa 3 at -3 at +3 yan. Yan. So, we have -3 and +3, -3 and 3. So, bakit nga ba ganito yung ginamit, hindi parentheses? Bakit bracket? Kasi lahat naman yan included. Okay? So, wag kayong mag-alala. Meron tayong discussion yan sa next week. Okay? Tuturuan ko kayo kung paano mag-graph naman ng domain, ay paano maglagay ng notation kapag domain and range and how to use this notation. Okay? Anyways, the circle goes from x equals -3, nagsimula dito, hanggang x equals +3. Though hindi siya mama, pero assume na lang natin. Y equals -3, ito yon. Then y equals +3. Yan yung circle natin. Yung limitation ng circle natin. So, guided discussion, let us identify the domain and range. By the way, again, the domain is the complete set of input values. Lahat ng x yan. Pwede mo itanong sa sarili mo, what values of x are allowed? Okay? Range naman, the complete set of resulting output values. Ano naman kaya yung mga y values na hindi na actually produced? Okay? So, ganito siya sinusulat. D is equal to, or D, or domain is equal to, may curly braces siya, 1, 2, 3, 4, tapos may separated na comma, then na-close siya ng curly braces. Ganon din yung range. R is equal to 2, 4, yan. Okay? So, now, we're gonna introduce the function notation. F of x, by the way, so yeah, let's have a scaffolding one here. So, f of x does not mean f times x. By the way, ito yung definition niya, no? It is the same of the function f applied to the input x. So when I write f of 3, I'm asking what is the output when the input is 3. Let us compute f of x equals 2x plus 1. Then, ayan, ganito yung gagawin natin. Pero para mas ma-imagine niyo, let's have the first step. Identify natin ano ba yung function rule. The function rule in the given as f of x equals 2x plus 1. Iyan po yung function rule natin. So, from the given. So, next step is to identify the input. What is the input? Again, ang input natin is x, tama? So, we are asked to find f of 3. So, kailangan natin hanapin yung f of 3 dito. So, the input is 3. Substitute the input into the function rule. So, papalitan natin yung x ng 3. So, it will become f of 3 equals 2 times the 3 plus 1, that is going to be 6 plus 1. And we compute that is equal to 7. So, that's it. That's how we introduce the function notation. Okay? So, when we stated the output when the input is 3 is 7. That's how we state our final answer. Okay? Again, ano ba ang tunan dito? Ang output, ang input natin is yung 3, ang output natin is yung mismong function result. Okay? So, let's try to have an example. So, try naman natin f of 5. Okay? What is your answer? Feel free to pause this video and share your answer. Okay, so f of 5 is equal to 2 times 5, that is 10 plus 1 equals 11. That's it. Okay, so let's practice. So given this particular function, 3x minus 2, let us find out the f of 1. Okay, that is equal to 3 times 3 times 1 minus 2, that is 3 minus 2 equals 1. Good to go. Let's have to find out what about 0 naman. F of 0 equals 3 times 0 minus 2 equals 0 minus 2, that is negative 2. Find f of negative 2. So that is 3 times negative 2 minus 2. 3 times negative 2, that is going to be negative 6. Minus 2, that is negative 8. Okay, so now, domain from context. So context kasi, let's have the jeepney fare for X kilometers. So, may tanong ako sa inyo eh. Can X equals to negative 5? Kapag ka ang pamasahe, ang distance natin is, may distance tayo sa jeepney, pwede ba maging negative yung distance natin? Sige nga, pag-aralan natin. So, let us identify the context. Yung context kasi natin is the jeepney fare for X kilometers. So, what we are going to do is to X represents the distance in kilometer. Ang tanong dyan, can X equals to negative 5? Is negative 5 a possible distance? Definitely not. Hindi pwedeng maging negative yung distansya natin. Bakit? Distance cannot be negative. So what does the context allow? The context allows only non-negative distances. So pag nakita kayo ng problema or problem na about sa distansya or jeepney or tricycle or distance, so bawal po ang negative na distance. So kailangan non-negative or lahat positive dapat. Okay? So x can be 0, 1, 2, 3. Bakit may ellipsis dyan? Kasi continuous yan. Tuloy-tuloy. Okay. So, let us state the domain. In this context, the domain is x is greater than or equal to 0. Bakit? Ang ibig sabihin lang naman nito ay yung x can be 0. Bakit? May equal eh. No? 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on. Tuloy-tuloy siya. So what do we do now about f of x? F of x is the name of the function. F of x gives the fare o yung pamasahe o yung output when the distance or yung input is x. Okay? As a summary, the context restricts the domain. Distance cannot be negative. The domain is all non-negative numbers. Kailangan tandaan natin yan. Okay, so let's have a worksheet before we proceed. Ito yung mga worksheet natin. So, pipili po kayo, no? Kasi ito po ay tiered worksheet. Meron tatlo akong bibigay sa inyong level. Pili kayo, alin dito yung applicable sa inyo. Kayo ba ay nag-struggle? You can use this activity sheet, okay, to show your understanding. And given the ordered pairs, circle the domain values, underline the range values. So may given dito, yan, circle nyo daw yung domain, underline nyo yung range. So pwede nyo ilagay yung domain and range kapag okay na. After nyan, evaluate nyo daw si f of 2 and f of 0 using this function. Okay? So ano yung f of 2, ano yung f of 0? So sentence frame, the domain is blank because the inputs are yan. Okay? For struggling learners. Pero kapag sa tingin mo naman, okay, pakita ko na sa inyo. Ayan. Pag sa tingin nyo naman, average learner kayo, you have to identify the domain and range from the table. Yeah, using this graph. Okay, what is the domain? What is the range? So, evaluate f of x for 3 given values. Write each pair of ordered pairs. So, tatlo naman yan. So, using this f of x. Explain in one sentence why the domain is a context problem is restricted. So, kapag ka na-overcome mo tong average learner, di magle-level up ka na. So, try naman natin yung advanced learners. So, Kapag kakaya niyo na ito, sagutan niyo po ito with this instruction. Given a verbal description, write the function rule and state domain and range. Create your own function model for a real-world situation with justification. Okay? Pag nakompleto nyo po yung 3 levels na yan, then I will give you a badge. Okay? So that is the topic for today. So 3, 2, 1 reflection. Take a moment or minutes to think about what you've learned today. Gusto ko ilista natin lahat ng 3 important things you've learned in session 3, the domain, range, and notation. 2 topics or skills you want to practice more. Isang question you still have about for today's lesson. Okay? What happens next? Kukolektahin ni teacher yan, itong mga reflection natin, and then your questions will help us sa next session natin. So I want you to be honest, be specific, be your best. Thank you for our lesson for today. See you sa ating classroom.